increasingly becoming aware of their nutritional needs. It is a sign of a society becoming healthier. With rising income levels, the consumption of vegetables, fruits, and Sri Anna is increasing significantly. A comprehensive program to promote production, efficient supplies, processing, and remunerative prices for farmers will be launched in partnership with the states. Appropriate institutional mechanisms for implementation and participation of farmer-producer organizations and cooperatives will be set up. Makhana Board in Bihar. For this, there is a special opportunity for the people of Bihar. A Makhana Board will be established in the state to improve production, processing, value addition, and marketing of makhana. The people engaged in these activities will be organized into FPOs. The board will provide hand-holding and training support to makhana farmers and will also work to ensure they receive the benefits of all relevant government schemes. A national mission on high-yielding seeds will be launched, aimed at 1. Strengthening research ecosystem, 2. Targeted development and propagation of seeds with high yield, pest resistance, and climate resilience, and 3. Commercial availability of more than 100 seed varieties released since July 2024. India ranks second largest globally in fish production and aquaculture. Seafood exports are valued at 60,000 crore rupees. To unlock the untapped potential of the marine sector, our government will bring in an enabling framework for sustainable harnessing of fisheries from Indian exclusive economic zone and high seas, with a special focus on the Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep Islands. For the benefit of lakhs of cotton growing farmers, I am pleased to announce a mission for cotton productivity. This 5-year mission will facilitate significant improvements in productivity and sustainability of cotton farming and promote extra long staple cotton varieties. The best of science and technology support will be provided to farmers. Aligned with our integrated 5F vision for the textile sector, this will help in increasing incomes of the farmers and ensure a steady supply of quality cotton for rejuvenating India's traditional textile sector. Kisan credit cards facilitate short-term loans for 7.7 crore farmers, fishermen, and dairy farmers. The loan limit under modified interest subvention scheme will be enhanced from 3 lakh rupees to 5 lakh rupees for loans taken through the KCC. For Atmanirbharta in urea production, our government had reopened 3 dormant urea plants in the eastern region. To further augment urea supply, a plant with annual capacity of 12.7 lakh metric tons will be set up at Namrup in Assam. India Post, with 1.5 lakh rural post offices, complemented by the India Post Payment Bank and a vast network of 2.4 lakh Dak Sevaks, will be repositioned to act as a catalyst for the rural economy. Details are at Annexure C. India Post will also be transformed as a large public logistics organization. This will meet the rising needs of Vishwakarmas, new entrepreneurs, women, self-help groups, MSMEs, and the large business organizations. Our government will provide support to NCDC for its lending operations for the cooperative sector. MSMEs as the second engine. Now I move to MSMEs as the second engine, which encompasses manufacturing and services with a focus on MSMEs numbering 5.7 crores. Currently, over 1 crore registered MSMEs, employing 7.5 crore people and generating 36% of our manufacturing, have come together to position India as a global manufacturing hub. With their quality products, these MSMEs are responsible for 45% of our exports. To help them achieve higher efficiencies of scale, technological upgradation, and better access to capital, the investment and turnover limits for classification of all MSMEs will be enhanced to 2.5 and 2 times respectively. This will give them the confidence to grow and generate employment for our youth. The details are given in Annexure D. To improve access to credit, the credit guarantee cover will be enhanced. First, for micro and small enterprises from 5 crore to 10 crore rupees, leading to additional credit of 1.5 lakh crores in the next 5 years. Second, for startups from 10 crore rupees to 20 crore rupees, with the guarantee fee being moderated to 1% for loans in 27 focus sectors which are important for Atmanirbhar Bharat. And for well-run exporter MSMEs, for term loans up to 20 crore rupees. Also for the micro enterprises, we will introduce customized credit cards with a 5 lakh rupee limit for micro enterprises registered on Udyam portal. In the first year, 10 lakh such cards will be issued. Fund of funds for startups. The alternate investment fund, AIFs, for startups have received commitments of more than 91,000 crores rupees. These are supported by the fund of funds set up with the Government of India's contribution of 10,000 crore rupees. Now, a new fund of funds with expanded scope and a fresh contribution of another 10,000 crore rupees will be set up. A new scheme will be launched for 5 lakh women, scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, first-time entrepreneurs. This will provide term loans up to 2 crore rupees during the next 5 years. The scheme will incorporate lessons from the successful Stand Up India scheme. Online capacity building for entrepreneurship and managerial skills will also be organized. Measures for labor-intensive sectors. To promote employment and entrepreneurship opportunities in labor-intensive sectors, our government will undertake specific policy and facilitation measures. To enhance the productivity, quality, and competitiveness of India's footwear and leather sector, a focused product scheme will be implemented. The scheme will support design capacity, component manufacturing, and machinery required for production of non-leather quality footwear, besides the support for leather footwear and products. The scheme is expected to facilitate employment for 22 lakh persons, generate over 4 lakh crore rupees, and exports of over 1.1 lakh crore rupees. Measures for the toys sector. Building on the National Action Plan for Toys, we will implement a scheme to make India a global hub for toys. The scheme will focus on development of clusters, skills, and a manufacturing ecosystem that will create high-quality, unique, innovative, and sustainable toys that will represent the Made in India brand. Support for food processing. In line with our commitment towards Purvodaya, we will establish a National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management in Bihar. The institute will provide a strong fillip to food processing activities in the entire eastern region. This will result in 1. Enhanced income for the farmers through value addition to their produce, and 2. Skilling entrepreneurship and employment opportunities for the youth. Manufacturing mission, furthering Make in India. Our government will set up a national manufacturing mission covering small, medium and large industries for furthering Make in India by providing policy support, execution roadmaps, governance and monitoring framework for central ministries and states. Details are in Annexure E. Given our commitment to climate-friendly development, the mission will also support clean tech manufacturing. This will aim to improve domestic value addition and build our ecosystem for solar PV cells, EV batteries, motors and controllers, electrolyzers, wind turbines, very high voltage transmission equipment and grid-scale batteries. Investment as the third engine. Now I move to investment as the third engine, which encompasses investing in people, investing in the economy, and investing in innovation. Investing in people. Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0. Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0 program provides nutritional support to more than 8 crore children, 1 crore pregnant women and lactating mothers all over the country, and about 20 lakh adolescent girls in aspirational districts and the Northeast region. The cost norms for these nutritional support will be enhanced appropriately. Atal Tinkering Labs. 50,000 Atal Tinkering Labs will be set up in government schools in the next 5 years to cultivate the spirit of curiosity and innovation and foster a scientific temper among young minds. Broadband connectivity to government secondary schools and PHCs. Broadband connectivity will be provided to all government secondary schools and primary health centers in rural areas under the BharatNet project. Bharatiya Bhasha Pustak Scheme. We propose to implement a Bharatiya Bhasha Pustak scheme to provide digital form Indian language books for schools and for higher education. This aims to help students understand their subjects better and in their language. National Centers of Excellence for Skilling. Building on the initiative announced in the July 24 budget, 5 national centers of excellence for skilling will be set up with global expertise and partnerships to equip our youth with the skills required for Make for India, Make for the World manufacturing. The partnership will cover curriculum design, training of trainers, and a skills certification framework and periodic reviews. Expansion of capacity in IITs. Total number of students in 23 IITs has increased 100% from 65,000 to 1.35 lakh in the past 10 years. Additional infrastructure will be created in the 5 IITs started after 2014 to facilitate education for 6,500 more students. Hostel and other infrastructure capacity at IIT Patna will also be expanded. Center of Excellence. Center Center of Excellence in AI for Education. I had announced 3 centers of excellence in artificial intelligence for agriculture, health, and sustainable cities in 2023. Now a center of excellence in artificial intelligence for education will be set up with a total outlay of 500 crores. Expansion of medical education. Our government has added almost 1.1 lakh undergraduate and postgraduate medical education seats in 10 years, an increase of 130%. In the next year,
Sir, with your permission, I rise to lay on the table a copy each of the following papers, Hindi and English versions, under Article 281 of the Constitution, Report for 2026 to 2031, Volume 1, Main Report of the 16th Finance Commission. 2. Report for 2026-2031, Volume 2, Annexures of the 16th Finance Commission. Number 3, explanatory memorandum as to the action taken on the recommendations contained in the above report.
Item number 2, माननीय वित्त मंत्री निर्मला सीतारमण जी.
Honorable Speaker, sir, on the sacred occasion of Magh Purnima and the birth anniversary of Guru Ravidas, I present the budget for the year 2026-2027. Since we assumed office 12 years ago, India's economic trajectory has been marked by stability, fiscal discipline, sustained growth, and moderate inflation. This is the result of conscious choices we have made, even in times heightened uncertainty and disruption. Our government, led by Honorable Prime Minister Modi, has decisively and consistently chosen action over ambivalence, reform over rhetoric, and people over populism. We have pursued far-reaching structural reforms, fiscal prudence and monetary stability, whilst maintaining a strong thrust on public investment. Keeping Atmanirbharta as a lodestar, we have built domestic manufacturing capacity, energy security, and reduced critical import dependencies. Simultaneously, we have ensured that citizens benefit from every action of the government, undertaking reforms to support employment generation, agricultural productivity, household purchasing power, and universal services to people. These measures have delivered a high growth rate of around 7% and helped us make substantial strides in poverty reduction and improvement in the lives of our people. Today, we face an external environment in which trade and multilateralism are imperiled and access to resources and supply chains are disrupted. New technologies are transforming production systems while sharply increasing demands on water, energy, and critical minerals. India will continue to take confident steps towards Viksit Bharat, balancing ambition with inclusion. As a growing economy with expanding trade and capital needs, India must also remain deeply integrated with global markets, exporting more and attracting stable long-term investment. As I begin Part A, I want to express my gratitude to the people for standing firmly with us as we forge our way together towards becoming one of the largest economies of the world. Our aim is to transform aspiration into achievement and potential into performance, as we ensure that the dividends of growth reach every farmer, the scheduled caste, the scheduled tribes, the nomads, the youth, the poor, and the women. In Vikasit Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue 2026, several innovative ideas were shared with our Prime Minister, which have inspired many of the proposals, making this a unique Yuva Shakti-driven budget. Our government's sankalp is to focus on our poor, underprivileged, and the disadvantaged. To deliver on this sankalp, and given that this is the first budget prepared in Kartavya Bhavan, we are inspired by three Kartavya. Our first Kartavya is to accelerate and sustain economic growth by enhancing productivity and competitiveness and building resilience to volatile global dynamics. Our second Kartavya is to fulfill aspirations of our people and build their capacity, making them strong partners in India's path to prosperity. Our third Kartavya, aligned with our vision of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, is to ensure that every family, community, region, and sector has access to resources, amenities, and opportunities for meaningful participation. This threefold approach requires a supportive ecosystem. The first requirement is to sustain the momentum of structural reforms, continuous, adaptive, and forward-looking. Second, a robust and resilient financial sector is central to mobilizing savings, allocating capital efficiently, and managing risks. Third, cutting-edge technologies, including AI applications, can serve us as force multipliers for better governance. Reform Express. Our government has undertaken comprehensive reforms towards creating employment, boosting productivity, and accelerating growth. After the Prime Minister's announcement on Independence Day in 2025, over 350 reforms have been rolled out. This includes GST simplification, notification of labor codes, and rationalization of mandatory quality control orders. High-level committees have been formed, and in parallel, the central government is working with the state governments on deregulation and reducing compliance requirements. The Reform Express is well on its way and will maintain its momentum to help us fulfill our Kartavya. I now move to specific proposals. Under our first Kartavya, to accelerate and sustain economic growth, I propose interventions in 6 areas. 1. Scaling up manufacturing in 7 strategic and frontier sectors. 2. Rejuvenating legacy industrial sectors. 3. Creating champion MSMEs. 4. Delivering a powerful push for infrastructure. 5. Ensuring long-term security and stability. And 6. Developing city economic regions. Scaling up of manufacturing in 7 strategic and frontier sectors. Biopharma Shakti, meaning biopharma strategy for health advancement through knowledge, technology, and innovation. India's disease burden is observed to be shifting towards non-communicable diseases like diabetes, cancer, and autoimmune disorders. Biologic medicines are key to longevity and quality of life at affordable costs. To develop India as a global biopharma manufacturing hub, I propose the Biopharma Shakti with an outlay of 10,000 crores over the next 5 years. This will build the ecosystem for domestic production of biologics and biosimilars. The strategy will include a biopharma-focused network with 3 new national institutes of pharmaceutical education and research, popularly known as NIPERs, and upgrading 7 existing ones. It will also create a network of 1,000 accredited India clinical trials sites. We propose to strengthen the Central Drug Standard Control Organization to meet global standards and approve timeframes through and approval timeframes through a dedicated scientific review cadre and specialists. India's Semiconductor Mission 1.0 expanded India's semiconductor sector capabilities. Building on this, we will launch ISM 2.0 to produce equipment and materials, design full-stack Indian IP, and fortify supply chains. We will also focus on industry-led research and training centers to develop technology and skilled workforce. The Electronics Components Manufacturing Scheme, launched in April 2025 with an outlay of 22,919 crores, already has investment commitments at double the targets. We propose to increase the outlay to 40,000 crores to capitalize on this momentum. A scheme for rare earth permanent magnets was launched in 2025 November. We now propose to support the mineral-rich states of Odisha, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu to establish dedicated rare earth corridors to promote mining, processing, research, and manufacturing. To enhance domestic chemical production and reduce import dependency, we will launch a scheme to support states in establishing 3 dedicated chemical parks through challenge route on a cluster-based plug-and-play model. Strong capital goods. Strong capital goods capability is a determinant of productivity and quality across different sectors. Towards building this capacity, I propose the following. High-tech tool rooms will be established by central public sector enterprises at 2 locations as digitally enabled automated service bureaus that locally design, test, and manufacture high-precision components at scale and at lower cost. 2. A scheme for enhancement of construction and infrastructure equipments will be introduced to strengthen domestic manufacturing of high value and technologically advanced CIE. This can range from lifts in a multi-storied apartment or firefighting equipment in multiplexes, large or small, and to tunnel boring equipments for building metros and high-altitude roads. I also propose a scheme for container manufacturing to create a globally competitive container manufacturing ecosystem with a budgetary allocation of 10,000 crores over a 5-year period. For the labor-intensive textile sector, I propose
संबंधी उपकरण हो सकते हैं। मैं 5 वर्ष की अवधि के लिए 10,000 करोड़ के बजटीय आवंटन के साथ वैश्विक प्रतिस्पर्धा कंटेनर विनिर्माण परिवेश तैयार करने हेतु एक कंटेनर निर्माण योजना का भी प्रस्ताव करती हूं। श्रम गहन वस्त्र क्षेत्र के लिए मैं 5 उपभागों के साथ एकीकृत कार्यक्रम का प्रस्ताव करती हूं। 1. रेशम, ऊन और जूट जैसे प्राकृतिक फाइबर, मानव निर्मित फाइबर और नए युग के फाइबरों में आत्मनिर्भरता हेतु राष्ट्रीय फाइबर योजना। मशीनरी प्रौद्योगिकी यूनियन और सामान्य प्रशिक्षण एवं प्रमाणन केंद्रों के लिए पूंजीगत सहायता के साथ पारंपरिक क्लस्टरों के आधुनिकीकरण के लिए वस्त्र विस्तार एवं रोजगार योजना। 3, मौजूदा योजनाओं को एकीकृत एवं सुदृढ़ करने और बुनकरों एवं कारीगरों के लिए लक्षित सहायता सुनिश्चित करने के लिए राष्ट्रीय हथकरघा एवं हस्तशिल्प कार्यक्रम। वैश्विक रूप से प्रतिस्पर्धी और धारणीय वस्त्र परिधानों को बढ़ावा देने के लिए टैक्स इको पहल। उद्योग जगत और शैक्षणिक संस्थानों के सहयोग से वस्त्र कौशल परिवेश के आधुनिकीकरण और उन्नयन के लिए समर्थ 2.0। इसके अलावा मैं प्रस्ताव करती हूं कि चुनौती मोड में मेगा टेक्सटाइल पार्क स्थापित किए जाएंगे। वे तकनीकी टेक्सटाइल के मूल्यवर्धन पर भी ध्यान केंद्रित कर सकते हैं। मैं खादी, हथकरघा और हस्तशिल्प को सुदृढ़ करने के लिए महात्मा गांधी ग्राम स्वराज योजना का शुभारंभ करने का प्रस्ताव करती हूं। इससे वैश्विक बाजार समृद्धता और ब्रांडिंग में सहायता मिलेगी। यह प्रशिक्षण, कौशल, प्रक्रिया और उत्पादन गुणवत्ता को सुसंगत बनाएगा और सहायता प्रदान करेगा। यह हमारे बुनकरों, ग्रामीण उद्योगों, एक जिला एक उत्पाद पहल और ग्रामीण युवाओं को लाभान्वित करेगा। भारत में उच्च गुणवत्ता वाले खेलकूद के सस्ते सामानों के लिए एक वैश्विक केंद्र के रूप में उभरने की संभावना मौजूद है। मैं उपकरण डिजाइन एवं सामग्री विज्ञान में विनिर्माण, अनुसंधान और नवाचार को बढ़ावा देने हेतु खेलकूद के सामानों के लिए एक समर्पित पहल का प्रस्ताव करती हूं। विरासत के औद्योगिक क्लस्टरों का कायाकल्प। मैं अवसंरचना और प्रौद्योगिकी उन्नयन के माध्यम से उनकी लागत, प्रतिस्पर्धात्मकता और दक्षता में सुधार करने के लिए 200 विरासत के औद्योगिक क्लस्टरों को पुनर्जीवित करने के लिए एक योजना शुरू करने का प्रस्ताव करती हूं। चैंपियंस MSME का सृजन और सूक्ष्म उद्यमों को सहायता। MSME को विकास के एक महत्वपूर्ण इंजन के रूप में मान्यता देते हुए मैं चैंपियंस के रूप में उनके विकास में सहायता के लिए एक त्रिआयामी दृष्टिकोण का प्रस्ताव करती हूं। इक्विटी सहायता। मैं भविष्य के चैंपियंस तैयार करने के लिए चुनिंदा मानदंडों के आधार पर उद्यमों को प्रोत्साहित करने के लिए एक समर्पित 10,000 करोड़ की MSME विकास निधि शुरू करने का प्रस्ताव करती हूं। मैं सूक्ष्म उद्योगों की सहायता को जारी रखने और जोखिम पूंजी तक उनकी पहुंच बनाने के लिए 2021 में स्थापित आत्मनिर्भर भारत निधि में 2,000 करोड़ के टॉप अप का भी प्रस्ताव करती हूं। इससे छोटे उद्योगों को सहायता मिलेगी। नकदी सहायता। ट्रेड्स के साथ MSME को 7 लाख करोड़ से अधिक धनराशि उपलब्ध कराई गई है। इसकी पूरी क्षमता का लाभ देने के लिए मैं 4 उपायों का प्रस्ताव करती हूं। 1, केंद्रीय सार्वजनिक क्षेत्र के उद्यमों द्वारा MSME से सभी खरीद के लिए ट्रेडर्स को लेन देन निपटान प्लेटफॉर्म के रूप में उपयोग करने का निर्देश करना, जिससे यह अन्य कॉरपोरेट के लिए एक मानक बन सके। 2, ट्रेडर्स प्लेटफॉर्म पर बीजक छूट हेतु CGTMSE के माध्यम से ऋण गारंटी सहायता तंत्र शुरू करना। 3, सस्ते और त्वरित वित्त पोषण को प्रोत्साहित करने के लिए MSME में सरकारी खरीद के बारे में वित्त प्रदाताओं के साथ सूचना साझा करने हेतु जेम को ट्रेडर्स को जोड़ना। 4, ट्रेड्स प्राप्तियों को आस्ती समर्पित प्रतिभूतियों के रूप में शुरू करना, जो एक द्वितीयक बाजार के रूप में सहायता करेगा और नकदी एवं लेन देन के निपटान को बढ़ाएगा। पेशेवर सहायता। सरकार विशेष रूप से टियर 2 और टियर 3 कस्बों में कॉरपोरेट मित्रों का एक संवर्ग तैयार करने के लिए अल्प अवधि मॉड्यूलर पाठ्यक्रमों और व्यवहारिक टूल्स की डिजाइन करने हेतु ICAI, ICSSI, ICMAI जैसे पेशेवर संस्थानों को सुविधा प्रदान करेगा। यह प्रमाणित अर्ध पेशेवर MSME को किफायती लागत पर
and institutions like NIIF and NABFID. We shall continue to focus on developing infrastructure in cities with over 5 lakh population, that is tier 2, tier 3 cities, which have expanded to become growth centers. Public capital expenditure has increased manifold from 2 lakh crore in 2014-15 to an allocation of 11.2 lakh crore in BE 25-26. In this coming year, that is financial year 2026-27, I propose to increase it to 12.2 lakh crores to continue the momentum. To strengthen the confidence of private developers regarding risks during infrastructure development and construction phase, I propose to set up an infrastructure risk guarantee fund to provide prudentially calibrated partial credit guarantee to lenders. Over the years, rights have emerged as a successful instrument for asset monetization. I propose to accelerate recycling of significant real estate assets of the CPSEs through the setting up of dedicated rights. To promote environmentally sustainable movement of cargo, I propose to 1. Establish new dedicated freight corridors connecting Dankuni in the east to Surat in the west. Operationalize 20 new national waterways over the next 5 years, starting with National Waterways 5 in Orissa to connect mineral-rich areas of Talcher and Angul and industrial centers like Kalinga Nagar to the ports of Paradeep and Dhamra. Training institutes will be set up as regional centers of excellence for development of required manpower for these waterways. This will benefit youth in the entire stretch of the waterways to train and acquire skills. Further, a ship repair ecosystem catering to inland waterways will also be set up at Varanasi and Patna. And C. Launch a coastal cargo promotion scheme for incentivizing a modal shift from rail to road to increase the share of inland waterways and coastal shipping from 6% to 12% by 2047. To enhance last mile and remote connectivity and promote tourism, I propose to give incentives to indigenize manufacturing of seaplanes. A seaplane VGF scheme will be also introduced to provide support for operations. Carbon capture, utilization and storage. Aligning with the roadmap launched in December 2025, the carbon capture, utilization and storage technologies at scale will achieve higher readiness and in end-use application across 5 industrial sectors, including power, steel, cement, refineries, and chemicals. An outlay of 20,000 crore is proposed over the next 5 years for this purpose. City economic regions. Cities are India's engines of growth, innovation, and opportunities. We shall now focus on tier 2, tier 3 cities and even temple towns which need modern infrastructure and basic amenities. This budget aims to further amplify the potential of cities to deliver the economic power of agglomerations by mapping city economic regions based on their specific growth drivers. An allocation of 5,000 crore per CER over 5 years is proposed for implementing their plans through a challenge mode with a reform cum result based financing mechanism. In order to promote environmentally sustainable passenger systems, we will develop 7 high-speed rail corridors between cities as growth connectors, namely Mumbai to Pune, Pune to Hyderabad, Hyderabad to Bengaluru, Hyderabad to Chennai, Chennai to Bengaluru, Delhi to Varanasi, Varanasi to Siliguri. Financial sector. The Indian banking sector today is characterized by strong balance sheet, historic highs in profitability, improved asset quality, and coverage exceeding 98% of villages in the country. At this juncture, we are well placed to futuristically evaluate the measures needed to continue on the path of reform-led growth of this sector. I propose setting up a high-level committee on banking for Vikasit Bharat. High-level committee on banking for Vikasit Bharat to comprehensively review the sector and align it with India's next phase of growth while safeguarding financial stability, inclusion, and consumer protection. The vision for NBFCs for Vikasit Bharat has been outlined with clear targets for credit disbursement and technology adoption in order to achieve scale and improve efficiency in the public sector NBFCs. As a first step, it is proposed to restructure the Power Finance Corporation and Rural Electrification Corporation. I propose a comprehensive review of the foreign exchange management non-debt instruments rules to create a more contemporary, user-friendly framework for foreign investments consistent with India's evolving economic priorities. Corporate bond market. I propose to introduce a market-making framework with suitable access to funds and derivatives on corporate bond indices. I also propose to introduce total return swaps on corporate bonds. Municipal bonds. To encourage the issuance of municipal bonds of higher value by larger cities, I propose an incentive of 100 crore rupees for a single bond issuance.
व्युत्पन्नों के लिए पर्याप्त अवसर हों, मैं कॉर्पोरेट बॉन्डों पर पूर्ण रिटर्न स्वैप शुरू करने का भी प्रस्ताव करती हूं। म्युनिसिपल बॉन्ड। बड़े शहरों द्वारा आर्थिक मूल्य के म्युनिसिपल बॉन्ड जारी करने को बढ़ावा देने के लिए मैं 1000 करोड़ से अधिक का एकल बॉन्ड जारी करने के लिए 100 करोड़ के प्रोत्साहन का प्रस्ताव करती हूं। अमृत के अंतर्गत वर्तमान योजना जो 200 करोड़ अमृत के अंतर्गत वर्तमान योजना जो 200 करोड़ तक के बॉन्ड जारी करने पर प्रोत्साहन प्रदान करती है, यह भी छोटे और मध्यम कस्बों को सहायता प्रदान करने के लिए जारी रहेगी। व्यापार करने की सुगमता। भारत के बाहर निवासी व्यक्तिगत व्यक्ति PROI को पोर्टफोलियो निवेश योजना के माध्यम से सूचीबद्ध भारतीय कंपनियों की इक्विटी लिखतों में निवेश करने की अनुमति होगी। इस योजना के अंतर्गत सभी व्यक्तिगत PROI के लिए समग्र निवेश को वर्तमान के 10% से 24% करने के साथ किसी व्यक्तिगत PROI के लिए निवेश सीमा को 5% से बढ़ाकर 10% करने का भी प्रस्ताव है। AI सहित उभरती प्रौद्योगिकियां 21वीं सदी प्रौद्योगिकी प्रेरित है। प्रौद्योगिकी का अंगीकरण सभी लोगों के हित के लिए है। खेतों में किसानों, स्टेम में महिलाओं, कौशल वृद्धि के लिए इच्छुक युवाओं और दिव्यांग जनों के लाभ हेतु नए अवसर। सरकार ने एआई मिशन, राष्ट्रीय क्वांटम मिशन, अनुसंधान नेशनल रिसर्च फंड और अनुसंधान विकास एवं नवाचार निधि के माध्यम से नई प्रौद्योगिकियों को सहायता प्रदान करने के लिए अनेक कदम उठाए हैं। हमारा दूसरा कर्तव्य आकांक्षाओं को पूरा करना और क्षमता निर्माण है। हमारी सरकार के एक दशक से सतत और सुधार उन्मुखी प्रयासों के माध्यम से लगभग 25 करोड़ लोग विभिन्न स्तरों पर व्याप्त गरीबी से ऊपर उठ गए हैं। इसलिए हमारी सरकार ने निम्नलिखित उपायों से युवा भारत की आकांक्षाओं को पूरा करने का मार्ग प्रशस्त करने के लिए सेवा क्षेत्र पर फिर से जोर देने का निर्णय लिया है। मैं विकसित भारत के मुख्य संचालक के रूप में सेवा क्षेत्र पर ध्यान केंद्रित करने के लिए उपायों की सिफारिश करने हेतु एक उच्च स्तरीय उच्चाधिकार प्राप्त शिक्षा से रोजगार एवं उद्यम स्थायी समिति के गठन का प्रस्ताव करती हूं। यह हमें वर्ष 2047 तक 10% की वैश्विक हिस्सेदारी के साथ सेवा क्षेत्र में वैश्विक अग्रणी बनाएगा। यह समिति विकास, रोजगार और निर्यातों के लिए संभावनाओं को बढ़ाने के लिए क्षेत्रों को प्राथमिकता देगी। वे नौकरी और कौशल आवश्यकताओं पर एआई सहित उभरती प्रौद्योगिकियों का प्रभाव का भी आकलन करेंगे और उसके लिए उपायों का प्रस्ताव करेंगे। विकसित भारत के लिए पेशेवरों को तैयार करना। हमारे युवाओं के लिए कुशल कैरियर मार्ग की एक नई श्रृंखला तैयार करने के लिए मैं निम्नलिखित क्षेत्रों में पहल करने का प्रस्ताव करती हैं। संबद्ध स्वास्थ्य सेवा पेशेवरों के लिए मौजूदा संस्थानों का उन्नयन किया जाएगा। निजी तथा सरकारी क्षेत्रों में नए एचएमसी संस्थान की स्थापना की जाएगी। इसमें ऑप्टोमेट्री, रेडियोलॉजी, एनेस्थीसिया, ऑटो अप्लाइड साइकोलॉजी और व्यवहार संबंधी स्वास्थ्य सहित 10 चयनित विषय क्षेत्रों को शामिल किया जाएगा और अगले 5 वर्षों में 1 लाख एचपी जोड़े जाएंगे। वृद्धों की चिकित्सा और संबद्ध देखभाल सेवाओं को शामिल करते हुए एक मजबूत देखभाल सेवा परिवेश बनाया जाएगा। देखभाल सेवा और स्वास्थ्य, योग, मेडिकल और सहायता उपकरणों का प्रचालन जैसे संबद्ध कौशलों का संयोजन करके बहुकौशल देखभाल सेवा प्रदाताओं को प्रशिक्षित करने के लिए अनेक एनएसयू कार्यक्रमों का विकास किया जाएगा। आने वाले वर्षों में 1.5 लाख देखभाल सेवा प्रदाताओं को प्रशिक्षित किया जाएगा। चिकित्सा मूल्यवर्धन केंद्र। भारत को चिकित्सा पर्यटन क्षेत्र सेवा केंद्र के रूप में बढ़ावा देने के लिए मैं निजी क्षेत्र की साझेदारी में 5 क्षेत्रीय चिकित्सा केंद्रों की स्थापना के लिए राज्यों को सहायता प्रदान करने के लिए एक योजना शुभारंभ करने का प्रस्ताव करती हूँ। ये केंद्र एकीकृत स्वास्थ्य सेवा परिसरों के रूप में सेवा प्रदान करेंगे, जिसमें चिकित्सा, शैक्षिक और अनुसंधान सुविधाएं होंगी। इसमें नैदानिक बाद के देखभाल और पुनर्वास के लिए आयुष केंद्र, चिकित्सा मूल्य पर्यटन सुविधा केंद्र होंगे। ये केंद्र डॉक्टरों और एएचपी सहित स्वास्थ्य सेवा पेशेवरों को विविध कार्य अवसर प्रदान करेंगे। प्राचीन चिकित्सा पद्धति। विश्व के विभिन्न भागों में पहले से सम्मान प्राप्त प्राचीन भारतीय योग को व्यापक वैश्विक पहचान तब मिली जब माननीय प्रधानमंत्री इसे यूएन में लेकर गए। कोविड के पश्चात आयुर्वेद को भी सम्मान, वैश्विक स्वीकार्यता और पहचान मिली है। गुणवत्तापूर्ण आयुर्वेद उत्पादों के निर्माण से औषधीय पौधों की खेती करने वाले किसानों और इनके उत्पादों का प्रशंसन करने वाले युवाओं को मदद मिलती है। बढ़ रही वैश्विक मांगों को कुछ और कदम उठाए जा रहे हैं। मैं 3 नए अखिल भारतीय आयुर्वेद संस्थान स्थापित करने, 2 प्रमाणन परिवेश के उच्च मानकों के लिए आयुष फार्मेसी और औषधि परीक्षण प्रयोगशालाओं का उन्नयन करने और अधिक कुशल कार्मिक उपलब्ध कराने, 3 पारंपरिक दवाओं के लिए साक्ष्य आधारित अनुसंधान, प्रशिक्षण और जागरूकता को बढ़ावा देने के लिए जामनगर में WHO वैश्विक पारंपरिक चिकित्सा केंद्र के उन्नयन का प्रस्ताव करती हूँ। पशुपालन। पशुधन कृषि आय के लगभग 16% का योगदान देता है, जिसमें गरीब और सीमांत परिवार भी शामिल है। पशु चिकित्सा पेशेवरों की संख्या को 20,000 से अधिक करके उनकी उपलब्धता को बढ़ाने के लिए मैं निजी क्षेत्र में पशु रोग विशेषज्ञ और पैरा पशु शल्य महाविद्यालय, पशु अस्पताल, नैदानिक प्रयोगशालाओं और प्रजनन सुविधाओं की स्थापना के लिए एक ऋण संबद्ध पूंजी सब्सिडी सहायता योजना शुरू करने का प्रस्ताव करती हूँ। भारतीय और विदेशी संस्थाओं के बीच सहयोग को भी सुविधाजनक बनाया जाएगा। ऑरेंज अर्थव्यवस्था। भारत का एनिमेशन, विजुअल इफेक्ट्स, गेमिंग, कॉमिक्स, ABGC क्षेत्र एक बढ़ता हुआ उद्योग है, जिसमें वर्ष 2030 तक 2 मिलियन पेशेवरों की आवश्यकता होगी। मैं इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ क्रिएटिव टेक्नोलॉजी मुंबई को 15,000 माध्यमिक विद्यालयों और 500 महाविद्यालयों में ABGC कंटेंट क्रिएटर लैब स्थापित करने में सहायता प्रदान करने का प्रस्ताव करती हूँ। भारतीय डिजाइन उद्योग का तेजी से विस्तार हो रहा है, फिर भी भारतीय डिजाइनरों की कमी है। मैं भारत के पूर्वी क्षेत्र में डिजाइन शिक्षा और विकास को बढ़ावा देने के लिए चुनौती मार्ग के माध्यम से एक नए राष्ट्रीय डिजाइन संस्थान की स्थापना का प्रस्ताव करती हूँ। शिक्षा। हमारी सरकार बड़े औद्योगिक और लॉजिस्टिक कॉरिडोर के आसपास चुनौती मार्ग के माध्यम से 5 विश्वविद्यालय टाउनशिप का निर्माण करने में राज्यों को सहायता प्रदान करेगी। इन योजनाबद्ध शैक्षणिक जोन में कई विश्वविद्यालय, महाविद्यालय, अनुसंधान संस्थान, कौशल केंद्र और आवासीय परिसर होंगे। उच्चतर शिक्षा स्टेम संस्थानों में अध्ययन तथा प्रयोगशाला कार्य हेतु लगने वाला अधिक समय छात्राओं के लिए कुछ चुनौतियां पेश करती हैं। VGF पूंजीगत सहायता के माध्यम से प्रत्येक जिले में एक महिला छात्रावास की स्थापना की जाएगी। गहन अनुभव के माध्यम से खगोल भौतिकी और खगोल विज्ञान को बढ़ावा देने के लिए 4 टेलीस्कोप अवस्थापना सुविधाओं, नेशनल लार्ज सोलर टेलीस्कोप, नेशनल लार्ज ऑप्टिकल इंफ्रारेड टेलीस्कोप, हिमालयन चंद्र टेलीस्कोप और द कॉस्मस 2 प्लेनेटोरियम की स्थापना की जाएगी। पर्यटन के क्षेत्र में रोजगार सृजन, विदेशी मुद्रा आय और स्थानीय अर्थव्यवस्था का विस्तार करने में व्यापक भूमिका निभाने की क्षमता है। मैं मौजूदा राष्ट्रीय होटल प्रबंधन और कैटरिंग प्रौद्योगिकी परिषद का उन्नयन करते हुए राष्ट्रीय आतिथ्य संस्थान की स्थापना का प्रस्ताव करती हूँ। यह शैक्षणिक संस्थानों, उद्योग और सरकार के बीच सेतु के रूप में कार्य करेगा। मैं भारतीय प्रबंधन संस्थान के सहयोग से मानकीकृत हाइब्रिड मोड में 12 सप्ताह के उच्च गुणवत्ता प्रशिक्षण पाठ्यक्रम के माध्यम से 20 प्रसिद्ध पर्यटन स्थलों में 10,000 गाइडों के कौशल उन्नयन हेतु प्रायोगिक योजना का भी प्रस्ताव करती हूँ। सांस्कृतिक, आध्यात्मिक और विरासत महत्व वाली सभी स्थानों के डिजिटल दस्तावेज तैयार करने के लिए नेशनल डेस्टिनेशन डिजिटल नॉलेज ग्रिड की स्थापना की जाएगी। यह पहल स्थानीय अनुसंधानकर्ताओं, इतिहासकारों, कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स और प्रौद्योगिकी भागीदारों के लिए रोजगार के नए परिवेश का सृजन करेगा।
भारत के पास विश्व स्तरीय ट्रैकिंग और हाइकिंग का अनुभव प्रदान करने के लिए क्षमता तथा संभावनाएं हैं। हम निम्नलिखित के लिए सतत परिवेश तंत्र विकसित करेंगे। हिमाचल प्रदेश, उत्तराखंड और जम्मू एवं कश्मीर, साथ में पूर्वी घाट में अराकू घाटी और पश्चिमी घाट में पोदी गई मलाई में माउंटेन ट्रेल, ओडिशा, कर्नाटक और केरल के तटीय क्षेत्रों में प्रमुख आश्रय स्थलों के पास टर्टल ट्रेल्स और आंध्र प्रदेश और तमिलनाडु में पुलिकट झील के किनारे बर्ड वाचिंग ट्रेल्स। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के दूरदर्शी नेतृत्व में हमने वर्ष 2024 में इंटरनेशनल बिग कैट अलायंस की स्थापना की थी। इस वर्ष भारत प्रथम ग्लोबल बिग कैट शिखर सम्मेलन की मेजबानी कर रहा है, जिसमें 95 सदस्य देशों के सरकारों के प्रमुख और मंत्री संरक्षण की सामूहिक रणनीतियों पर चर्चा करेंगे। विरासत और संस्कृति पर्यटन। मैं लोथल, धौलावीरा, राखीगढ़ी, आदि चन्नालूर, सारनाथ, हस्तिनापुर और लेह पैलेस जैसे 15 पुरातात्विक स्थलों को जीवंत और अनुभवजन्य सांस्कृतिक गंतव्य के रूप में विकसित करने का प्रस्ताव करती हूं। उत्खनित स्थलों को विशेष वॉकवे के माध्यम से जनता के लिए खोल दिया जाएगा। संरक्षण प्रयोगशालाओं, व्याख्यान केंद्रों और गाइडों की सहायता के लिए तल्लीन करने वाली कथानी रूपन कौशल और प्रौद्योगिकी की शुरुआत की जाएगी। खेलकूद। खेलकूद क्षेत्र कई प्रकार के रोजगार, कौशल और नौकरी के अवसर उपलब्ध कराता है। खेलो इंडिया कार्यक्रम के माध्यम से चल रहे खेलकूद से जुड़ी प्रतिभाओं के सुव्यवस्थित विकास के प्रयासों को आगे बढ़ाते हुए मैं अगले दशक में खेल कूद के क्षेत्र में बदलाव लाने के लिए खेलो इंडिया मिशन शुरू करने का प्रस्ताव करती हूं। यह मिशन निम्नलिखित सुविधाएं प्रदान करेगा: प्रशिक्षण केंद्रों द्वारा समर्थित आधारभूत, माध्यमिक और एलिट स्तरों पर एकीकृत प्रतिभा विकास पाथवे, कोच और सहायक कर्मचारियों का व्यवस्थित तरीके से विकास, खेल विज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकी के एकीकरण, खेल संस्कृति को बढ़ावा देने और प्लेटफॉर्म उपलब्ध कराने के लिए प्रतिस्पर्धा और लीग का आयोजन और अंग प्रशिक्षण और प्रतिस्पर्धा के लिए खेल अवसंरचना का विकास। हमारा तीसरा कर्तव्य विकसित भारत के लिए सबका साथ सबका विकास के हमारे विजन के अनुरूप है। इसके लिए निम्नलिखित के लिए लक्षित प्रयास किए जाने अपेक्षित हैं: छोटे और सीमांत किसानों पर विशेष ध्यान देते हुए उत्पादकता और उद्यमशीलता बढ़ाकर किसानों की आय में वृद्धि करना। आजीविका के अवसर, प्रशिक्षण और उच्च गुणवत्तापूर्ण सहायक उपकरणों तक पहुंच प्रदान करने के माध्यम से दिव्यांगजनों का सशक्तिकरण। मानसिक स्वास्थ्य और ट्रॉमा केयर तक पहुंच सुनिश्चित करने के लिए कमजोर समूहों का सशक्तिकरण। विकास और रोजगार के अवसरों में तेजी लाकर पूर्वोदय राज्यों और पूर्वोत्तर क्षेत्र
organizations, animal husbandry. To provide quality employment opportunities in rural and peri-urban areas, we will support the animal husbandry sector in entrepreneurship development through a credit-linked subsidy program, B, scaling up and modernization of livestock enterprises, C, enhanced creation of livestock, dairy and poultry enhanced creation of livestock, dairy and poultry focused integrated value chains, and D, encourage creation of livestock farmer producer organizations. high-value agriculture, to diversify farm outputs, increase productivity, enhance farmers' incomes, and create new employment opportunities, we will support high-value crops such as coconut, sandalwood, cocoa, cashew in the coastal areas, agar trees in northeast, and nuts such as almonds, walnuts, and pine nuts in our hilly regions. These, all of them, will be supported. India is the world's largest producer of coconuts. About 30 million people, including nearly 10 million farmers, depend on coconuts for their livelihood. To further enhance competitiveness in coconut production, I propose a coconut promotion scheme to increase production and enhance productivity through various interventions, including replacing and non-productive trees with new saplings or plants or varieties in major coconut growing states. A dedicated program is proposed for Indian cashew and cocoa to make India self-reliant in raw cashew and coconut production and processing, enhance export competitiveness, and transform Indian cashew and Indian cocoa into premium global brands by 2030. Sandalwood. Sandalwood is closely linked to India's social and cultural heritage. Our government will partner with state governments to promote focused cultivation and post-harvest processing to restore the glory of the Indian sandalwood ecosystem, to rejuvenate old, low-yielding orchards, and expand high-density cultivation of walnuts, almonds, and pine nuts. We will support a dedicated program to enhance farmer incomes and in bringing value addition by engaging youth. Bharat Vistar, that is virtually integrated system to access agricultural resources. I propose to launch Bharat Vistar, a multilingual AI tool that shall integrate the AgriStack portals and the ICAR package on agricultural practices with AI systems. This will enhance farm productivity, enable better decisions for farmers, and reduce risk by providing customized advisory support. She Marts for rural women-led enterprises. Building on the success of Lakpati Didi program, I propose to help women take the next step from credit-linked livelihoods to being owners of enterprises. Self-help entrepreneur, She Marts will be set up as community-owned retail outlets within the cluster-level federations through enhanced and innovative financing instruments. Empowering Divyangjan. Divyangjan Kaushal Yojana. Information technology, AVGC sectors, hospitality and food and beverages sectors often offer task-oriented and process-driven roles which are suitable for Divyangjan. We will ensure dignified livelihood opportunities through industry-relevant and customized training specific to each Divyangjan group. Divyang Sahara Yojana. Timely access to high-quality assistive devices for all eligible Divyangjan is a fundamental need. I propose to 1. Support the Artificial Limbs Manufacturing Corporation of India, Alimco, to set up and to scale up production of assistive devices, invest in R&D and AI integration, strengthen PM Divyasha Kendras, and support setting up of assistive technology marts as modern retail style centers where Divyangjan and senior citizens can see, try and purchase assistive products. reaffirming our commitment to mental health and trauma care. There are no national institutes for mental health care in North India. We will therefore set up a NIMHANS 2 and also upgrade national mental health institutes in Ranchi and in Tezpur as regional apex institutions. Emergencies expose families, particularly the poor and vulnerable, to unexpected expenditure. We will strengthen and increase these capacities by 50% in district hospitals by establishing emergency and trauma care centers. Focus on Purvodaya states and northeastern regions. Purvodaya, I propose the development of an integrated East Coast industrial corridor with a well-connected node at Durgapur, creation of 5 tourism destinations in 5 Purvodaya states, and the provision of 4,000 e-buses. Buddhist sites in northeastern region. The northeastern region is a civilizational confluence of Theravada and Mahayana or Vajrayana traditions. I propose to launch a scheme for development of Buddhist circuits in Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Assam, Manipur, Mizoram, and Tripura. The scheme will cover preservation of temples and monasteries, pilgrimage interpretation centers, connectivity, and pilgrim amenities. 16th Finance Commission. On 17th November 2025, the 16th Finance Commission submitted its report to the President. As mandated under Article 281 of the Constitution, the government is to lay the report along with the explanatory memorandum on the action taken report on the recommendations of the Commission in Parliament, which, Sir, Honourable Speaker, you've allowed me to do at the commencement of this session. The government has accepted the recommendation of the Commission to retain the vertical share of devolution at 41%. As recommended by the Commission, I have provided 1.4 lakh crores of rupees to the states for the year 2026-2027 as Finance Commission grants. These include rural and urban local body and disaster management grants. Fiscal consolidation. Government has been delivering on our fiscal commitments consistently without compromising on social needs. To strive towards accepted standards of fiscal management in Budget 25-26, I had indicated that the central government would target reaching a debt to GDP ratio of 50 plus or minus 1% by 2030-31. In line with this, the debt to GDP ratio is estimated to be 55.6% of GDP in BE 26-27, compared to 56.1% of GDP in RE 25-26. A declining debt to GDP ratio will gradually free up resources for priority sector lending and expenditure by reducing the outgo on interest payments. One of the main operational instruments for debt targeting is the fiscal deficit. I am happy to inform this august House that I fulfilled my commitment made in 2021-2022 to reduce fiscal deficit below 4.5% of GDP by 25-26. In RE 25-26, the fiscal deficit has been estimated at par with BE of 2025-26 at 4.4% of GDP. In line with the new fiscal prudence path of debt consolidation, the fiscal deficit in BE 26-27 is estimated to be 4.3% of the GDP. The revised estimates of the non-debt receipts are 34 lakh crore rupees, of which the centre's net tax receipts are 26.7 lakh crore. The revised estimate of the total expenditure is 49.6 lakh crore rupees, of which the capital expenditure is about 11 lakh crores. Budget estimates 2026 to 2027. Coming to 26-27, the non-debt receipts and the total expenditure are estimated as 36.5 lakh crore and 53.5 lakh crore respectively. The centre's net tax receipts are estimated at 28.7 lakh crore rupees. To finance the fiscal deficit, the net market borrowings from dated securities are estimated at 11.7 lakh crore rupees. The balance financing is expected to come from small savings and other sources. The gross market borrowings are estimated at 17.2 lakh crore rupees. I'll now move to Part B. Part B, direct taxes. Honorable Speaker, sir, I now present my proposals on direct taxes. New Income Tax Act. In July 2024, I announced a comprehensive review of the Income Tax Act 1961. This was completed in a record time, and the Income Tax Act 2025 will come into effect from 1st April 2026. The simplified income tax rules and forms will be notified shortly, giving adequate time to taxpayers to acquaint themselves with its requirements. The forms have been redesigned such that ordinary citizens can comply without difficulty. Ease of living. I propose that any interest awarded by the Motor Accident Claims Tribunal to a natural person will be exempt from income tax, and any TDS on this account will be done away with. I propose to reduce TCS rate on the sale of overseas tour program package from the current 5% and 20% to 2% without any stipulation of amount. I propose to reduce TCS rate for pursuing education and for medical purposes under the Liberalized Remittance Scheme, popularly known as LRS, from 5% to 2%. Supply of manpower services is proposed to be specifically brought within the ambit of payment to contractors for the purpose of TDS to avoid ambiguity. Thus, TDS on these services will be at the rate of either 1% or 2% only. I propose a scheme for small taxpayers, wherein a rule-based automated process will enable obtaining a lower or nil deduction certificate instead of filing an application with the assessing officer. For the ease of taxpayer holding securities in multiple companies, I propose to enable depositories to accept Form 15G or Form 15H from the investor and provide it directly to various relevant companies. I propose to extend time available for revising returns from 31st December to up to 31st March with the payment of a nominal fee. I also propose to stagger the timeline for filing of tax returns. Individuals with ITR 1 and ITR 2 returns will continue to file till 31st July, and non-audit business cases or trusts are proposed to be allowed time till 31st August. TDS on sale of immovable property by a non-resident is proposed to be deducted and deposited through resident buyers and his or her PAN-based challan instead of requiring a TAN, which is a temporary accounting number. to address practical issues of small taxpayers like students, young professionals, tech employees, relocated NRIs, and such others, I propose to introduce a one-time 6-month foreign asset disclosure scheme for these taxpayers to disclose income or assets below a certain size. This scheme would be applicable for two categories of taxpayers, namely A, who did not disclose their overseas income or assets, and B, who disclosed their overseas income and or paid due tax but could not declare the asset acquired. For category A, the limit of undisclosed income or asset is proposed to be up to 1 crore rupees. They need to pay 30% of fair market value of asset or 30% of undisclosed income as tax and 30% as additional income tax in lieu of penalty and would thereby get immunity from prosecution. For category B, asset value is proposed to be up to 5 crore rupees. Here, immunity from both penalty and prosecution will be available with a payment of fee of 1 lakh rupees. Rationalizing penalty and prosecution. Multiplicity of proceedings are hindrance to the ease of doing business. I propose to integrate assessment and penalty proceedings by way of a common order for both. There will be no interest liability on the taxpayer on the penalty amount for the period of appeal before the first appellate authority, irrespective of the outcome of appeal process. Further, quantum of prepayment is being reduced from 20% to 10% and will continue to be calculated only on core tax demand. As an additional measure for reducing litigation, I propose to allow taxpayers to update their returns even after reassessment proceedings have been initiated, and an additional 10% tax rate over and above the rate applicable for the relevant year. The assessing officer will then use only this updated return in his proceedings. There is already a framework for immunity from penalty and prosecution in the cases of underreporting. I propose to apply this framework for immunity to misreporting too. However, in such a case, the taxpayer will need to pay 100% of the tax amount as an additional income tax over and above the tax and interest due. Penalties for certain technical defaults, such as failure to get accounts audited, non-furnishing of transfer pricing audit report, and default in furnishing statement for financial transactions are proposed to be converted into fee. I propose to rationalize prosecution framework under Income Tax Act while maintaining a careful balance for deterrence in some serious offense. Non-production of books of account and documents and requirement of TDS payment where payment is made in kind are being decriminalized. Further, minor offenses will attract fine only. The remaining prosecutions will be graded commensurate with the quantum of offense. They will entail only simple imprisonment with maximum imprisonment reduced to 2 years and power to courts to convert even those into fines. There is no penalty. There is no penalty presently for non-disclosure of non-immovable foreign assets with aggregate value less than 20 lakh rupees. I propose to also provide them with immunity from prosecution with retrospective effect from 1/10/2024. Cooperatives. Deduction is already allowed to a primary cooperative society engaged in supplying milk, oilseeds, fruits or vegetables raised or grown by its members. I propose to extend this deduction to also include supply of cattle feed and cotton seed produced by its members. I propose to allow inter-cooperative society dividend income as deduction under the new tax regime to the extent it is further distributed to its members. I further propose to allow exemption for a period of 3 years to dividend income received by a notified national cooperative federation on their investments made in companies up to 31/1/2026. This exemption would be allowed only for dividends further distributed to its member cooperatives. Supporting IT sector as India's growth engine. India is a global leader in software development services, IT-enabled services, knowledge process outsourcing services, and contract R&D services relating to software development. These businesses and their segments are quite interconnected with each other. All these services are proposed to be clubbed under a single category of information technology services with a common safe harbor margin of 15.5% applicable to all. The threshold for availing safe harbor for IT services is being enhanced substantially from 300 crore rupees to 2,000 crore rupees. Safe harbor for IT services shall be approved by an automated rule-driven process without any need for tax officer to examine and accept the application. Once applied by an IT services company, the same safe harbor can be continued for a period of 5 years at a stretch at its choice. For IT services companies who want to conclude advanced pricing agreement, APA, I propose to fast-track unilateral APA process for IT services and endeavor to conclude it within a period of 2 years. The period of 2 years can be extended by a further period of 6 months on taxpayers' request. I propose to extend the facility of modified returns available to the entity entering APA to its associated entities also. Attracting global business and investment. Recognizing the need to enable critical infrastructure and boost investment in data centers, I propose to provide tax holiday till 2047 to any foreign company that provides cloud services to customers globally by using data center services from India.